Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to study the first chapter of Vista's textbook for class 12. The title of the chapter is The Third Level by Jack Finney. This is one of my favorite chapters because it involves a lot of understanding and the plot is really interesting. So the third level, by the title of the chapter by Jack Finney, we can make a number of guesses. We can understand maybe the chapter is about some level of examination. It could refer to some level of building. It could even be, say, the third level of an achievement. So it can be anything. And the title of a chapter always fascinates the reader. So this story, I'm going to deal it with a different manner. I'm first going to give you one session about the whole summary of the story. And the next video is going to be only about detailed texts. The detailed explained lines of the whole text. And the third video, which is usually about questions and answers, is going to be about just for exam question bank. So this is the video in which I'm going to give you a whole summary of the chapter, and then in the next video we will talk about line-wise explanation of the text. So the third level is a story that weaves together a psychological journey of the narrator into the past, the present, and moves towards future. There's always a natural human tendency to constantly move between the past, the present, and the future. The past and the present and the future are strategically and organically interconnected. Charlie was somehow convinced, he's the protagonist of the story, that there are three, not just two, levels of the Grand Central Station. And his psychiatrist friend Sam Weiner and his other friends used to think that his delusion is a waking dream wish fulfillment. And like his stamp collection, a temporary refuge from a world full of insecurity, fear, war, and worry. Let's know something about the author. Jack Finney was known as Walter Braden Jack Finney. He was an American author. He was born on October the 2nd in 1911 in Wisconsin, USA. He was given the name Jack Finney after his father died when he was 3 years old. He was renamed Walter Braden Finney in honor of his father, but he continued to be known as Jack throughout his life. The best part of these PPTs and videos is we get to know about what are the books he wrote. So if you look at the kind of books he's been writing, Time and Again, About Time, The Invasion of Body Snatchers, Five Against the House, all of them revolve around time, past, present, future. So that interests at least me enough. Now, usually when I talk about this chapter, I want my students to go back to the movie Harry Potter and just understand this particular scene, and you will be able to relate to when I say that the third level of the Grand Central Station in this chapter actually didn't exist, but Charlie was the one who found it. So this chapter relates with it a lot. I'll just play it and leave it for a minute.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's Harry Potter.
Excuse me.
way on your left, madam.
Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me where I might find platform 9 3/4?
9 3/4? Think you're being funny, do you?
It's the same every year, packed with muggles, of course. Come on, platform 9 3/4 this way.
I don't need to explain much regarding this clipping because every student has read Harry Potter, or if not read, he's seen the movie.
Fred, you next.
He's not Fred, I am. Honestly, woman, you call yourself our mother.
Oh, I'm sorry, George.
I'm only joking. I am Fred.
Excuse me?
Harry Potter's turn now.
Could you tell me how to get onto the platform? Not to worry, dear. It's Ron's first time to Hogwarts as well. Now, all you've got to do is walk straight at the wall between platforms 9 and 10. Best do it at a bit of a run if you're nervous. Good luck.
There he's going to smash. And he passes through. That is the level. That's the 9 3/4 level of the station. So here in this story we have actually, next story we have is, I'll just switch on. This is what I want you to understand. The central station which Charlie visited was actually where the level 1 exists, the level 2 exists, but the third level doesn't exist. So don't search for logic, children. At times the beauty of a chapter lies in just allowing the events to flow. It's a fictional story and anything happens in a fictional story. So what is the story about? The narrator interweaves fantasy with the reality in the most futuristic projection of time travel. Charlie, a young New Yorker commuter, loses his way and he finds himself in what he thinks is the third level of the Grand Central Station in New York. The Grand Central Station has subways on 2 levels from where the commuters take trains to different destinations. No third level was ever built. But however, Charlie believes in the existence of a third level and opening in the time frame of 1894. So the setting of the story is in the Grand Central Station in New York. This was somewhat opened on the 2nd of February in 1913. So it celebrated its 100th birthday, say around if you add 100 to it, say around 2013. Okay. And this is how it looks like in the modern era. So Charlie is really convinced that there are 3 and not 2 levels of the Grand Central Station. And his psychiatrist friend Sam Wiener thinks that it is actually a waking dream wish fulfillment. Like a stamp collection, it's a temporary refuge from a world full of insecurity, fear, war, and worry. Now, the third level, we have a set of characters. Charlie, Lauza, his wife, Sam, his psychiatrist friend. So these are the 3 main characters. It is set in the New York City Grand Central Station in 1940s, whereas the third level when he visits, that takes him back to the 1890s, that's in Galesburg, Illinois. People often yearn for a simpler, less stressful time, an escape to the past. So there's usually a conflict between man and self. There's a conflict. Charlie is looking for an escape. And somewhere he is able to find that escape in the third level at the Grand Central Station. The resolution is that Charlie can't find the third level, but he knows it exists because by the end, Sam Wiener, that psychiatrist friend of his, has written a letter to him from that very level. So if you really look at it, it's really, really interesting. Now, Charlie tries to buy tickets to Galesburg, Illinois, a wonderful town. with old big frame houses, huge lawns and tremendous trees, where summer evenings were twice as long and people lived in peace and harmony. But the clerk at the Grand Central Station at the third level didn't accept his 1950 currency, and so he had to leave the station. During his lunch break the next day, Charlie withdraws all his savings and buys old currency notes to buy tickets to Galesburg of 1894. He wants to buy 2 tickets, but he can never again find that entrance to the third level at the Grand Central Station. Charlie finds evidence that the third level actually exists when he discovers a letter dated July 18, 1894, addressed to his grandfather at Galesburg, Illinois, from a psychiatrist friend, Sam Weiner, who it seems was not skeptical of the third level as he had appeared. So I hope you've been able to understand it till here, and let's go on to the characters. There's Charlie. He's a 31-year-old individual married to Louisa who lived in New York, a sensitive soul full of scientific inquiry and love for adventure. He wanted to be different, has this thought so fertile that it makes him live a different life. He fantasized about the third level. He had a hobby of stamp collecting, and he appears to be suffering from fear and insecurities. He longs for some idyllic, peaceful place, and that makes him stray into the corridor of the Grand Central Station. Then we have Louisa. Louisa is the wife of Charlie. Happily married couple, concerned about her husband's mental state, mad if he's unhappy, and she knew that he had planned to buy 2 tickets and didn't plan to abandon her, but she was really worried when he had shared the story of the third level with her. And later onwards, they both started looking for the third level. Now, coming to Sam, the psychiatrist friend. He was a city boy, and he tries to help his friend's illogical thought of parallel world and calls it a temporary refuge from his worries. He himself gets trapped in this thought, and he himself finds the third level and reaches Galesburg. Like the sound of the place, and he advises Charlie to keep on looking for it. So the Grand Central Station is underground. It is in New York City. It has 2 levels only, but he is able to find the third level, and he is able to understand that the third level exists somehow in his mind. Charlie had been there before because every now and then the third level has always been building up new corridors. So there is a possibility that he might have bumped into that place because every now and then there are new corridors which are left to be explored. Therefore, he believes other people may have also experienced the same and might have found it. The easiest way to understand is that this is how he had reached the third level. This is how he finally reached the third level through Vanderbilt Avenue. Then the first level, second level, he ducked into the arc doorway and turned left. He found no noise, no people, and the hollow roar indicative of an open space. And he took a sharp left, went downstairs, and finally he ended at the third level. So children, this is how Charlie ends up at the third level. And later when he comes back to this world, he finds a letter written by his friend Sam Weiner from Galesburg of that era, and therefore he ends up searching for it along with his wife. So do tune in to the next video, which is going to be a line-wise explanation of the whole text. See you till then. Bye-bye.